Hello everyone, and today we're back into another top 5. And today we're going to be talking about the top 5 Baffle users in all of Loomian Legacy. Unfortunately, there are not many Loomians that can learn Baffle, but these 5 Loomians on the list can utilize Baffle the best. So let's head right onto this list. So number 5 onto this list is actually going to be a pre-evolved Loomian, and it's going to be Cavenish. Now, how is Cavenish on this list and not Banfino? Well, Banfino has a very fast speed stat with 109, so it's going to be very hard to fully utilize Banfino when it actually outspeeds some threats. Cavenish, though, has an 86 speed stat and decent defenses when combined with Drop of Youth, and since it only has 3 weaknesses, it can actually be utilized better as a Baffle user, at least compared to Banfino. Not to mention that Cavenish is the only Loomian that can learn Sap Plant and Baffle. The only other Loomian that can learn it is Banfino, its fully evolved form. And Cavenish can do the job very well. It has Sap Plant, it has Baffle, it has Photosynthesis, you can run Dodge. There's a lot of different moves you can run on Cavenish. Just like Banfino, you can even run the stalled Cavenish set. So there's a lot of different ways you can actually run Cavenish. Unfortunately, the reason why it's not higher is because the weaknesses Cavenish does have. It's weak to Dark, which means Slapdown's an absolute nightmare. And not to mention that you're quad weak to Toxic, which there are almost at least one Toxic type on every team nowadays. So, yeah, Cavenish isn't the best Baffle user, but it can be utilized pretty well when you need to use it. So yeah, number 4 onto this list is actually going to be Icigool. Yes, another pre-evolved Loomian, but this one is a little bit better because the defenses are good, I think the defensive typing is better, and it can actually hit a little harder with the Wise ability. It also has Peace of Mind, so it can actually increase its range defense a little bit more. It's even slower, so it actually underspeeds more Loomians, which means you can baffle more efficiently. Strellegoal also has a lot of other moves it can use. It can run Rant to lower the ranged attack of the opposing Loomians. Has Purge, which is nice for a healing move, kind of like how Cavenish has Photosynthesis. And you can actually run proper attacking moves on Strellegoal, and it'll actually do decent damage. As you can see in this clip, it actually defeats a Metatoad and a Harvest set, which, yeah, Cavenish would probably never do. It can't slap down items, unfortunately, but it could still do some massive damage. Strellegoal also has Provoke, so it's actually very good in that department as well. It does a lot of stuff better than Cavenish, and while it does some stuff worse, like a worse move pool, it does have a better defensive typing, and it isn't weak to Toxic, which is awesome. It is weak to Metal and Fire and Electric, but it does have some very good resistances, which does make it better than Cavenish. And it definitely deserves number 4 on this list. Number 3 onto this list is actually going to be Defensive Submarine. And this is a massive jump in the rankings. Defensive Submarine is amazing. Has the Terrifying ability to lower the opposing Loomian's melee attack. Has Aqua Jaws to lower melee defense. Has Sharpen, has Dodge. And with only 80 speed, you can actually utilize Baffle. It does have a lot of weaknesses though. That is Submarine's biggest flaw. It does have a lot of weaknesses. But it also has a lot of really good resistances as well. And with Terrifying, this can pretty much switch in against any melee attacker that doesn't have an electric move. This even counts super effective moves as well. Submarine is really good. Even as a pretty solid attack stats, you can actually damage opposing Loomians. And as a Baffle user, this thing is absolutely amazing. Since it resists so many moves, it's often in on so many good matchups, meaning that you can actually baffle out of very crucial situations. And this definitely makes Submarine one of the top baffle users in the game. It would be a lot better if it had a healing move and it actually had less weaknesses. But other than that, Submarine has great defenses on both sides, a very high health stat, solid melee attack, sharpened setup, and Aqua Jaws to lower the opposing melee defense. Makes Submarine a top 5 Baffle user, and it definitely deserves to be number 3. Number 2 onto this list is going to be a shocker. It's going to be Icigool. Yes, Icigool made number 2 on this list. But it has Fade Away, Baffle, and Rejuvenate. This is the only Baffle user on this list that has Rejuvenate. Well, that's if you don't count Perch and Photosynthesis. But other than that, it's really good. It has Fade Away to actually damage the opposing Loomian, and it actually has Rejuvenate with Baffle, which is awesome, because the other two Loomians are pre-evolved. Icigoal isn't, meaning you can actually run Energy Orb, and you will actually be able to soak hits. It also has very good defenses on both sides and a very solid health stat. Not to mention that there are so many different ways you can run an Icigoal. You can run a Soulstone variant, you can run a Fade Away with Baffle, you can run an Elemental Chomp, you can run Ice Hammer. There are actually a lot of ways to run Icigoal, and that's what makes it really good. You can run Partying Gift to do some extra damage after it gets KO'd. It's very slow, so you can actually baffle out of crucial situations. Icigoal has so much going for it, and the Spirit and Ice type counteracts each other very well, actually having some very good Loomians you can actually swap into. But it was not going to get number one. We all know who number one is. The best Baffle Loomian in the entire game is Ursnac. There's no other answer. And yes, while this may not have a healing move, it has Slapdown, Priority, Baffle, and the tank ability. It has great defenses on both sides, a very high health stat, very good energy stat, and with the tank ability, this thing kinda doesn't die. This thing really can't die. The only things that can really properly damage Ursnac is spirit types. And even then, that's very questionable, because you can just baffle out of them. There's also Slapdown to get rid of items, Heartbreak to daze, Rough Up to do damage. And while Ursnac may not hit that hard, it makes up with its baffle capabilities and utility. That's what makes Ursnac really good, and with Barbs, this thing can be absolutely dangerous. It actually lived a cycle slot from a Metatoad, which just shows how insane Ursnac is at tanking hits. And as a Baffle user, it basically performs amazingly, because you can drop your speed to nothing while still outspeeding Loomians at very low health, because it can run Shadow Sprint and Quick Punch. And that's why Ursnac is the best Baffle Loomian in all of Loomian Legacy. So, yeah. Here it is, Ursnac, the best Baffle Loomian in the entire game. I hope you guys enjoyed this list, and if there are some other Baffle Loomians that I have missed, tell me in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!